Hello Go fans, welcome to Adorean Go channel. Today's match is the 14th Chunlan Cup World Go Championship Semi-Finals between South Korea's Shin Jinseo 9 Dan and China's Xuanhao 9 Dan. The game took place on December 2022. Both players demonstrated exceptionally high skills in this match. Commentator Mr. Huang Yizhong is the coach of the national youth team of China. He will help us better understand and appreciate the game. The original commentary was in Chinese and English translation is provided by Adorean Go channel. Let's jump right in and watch this incredible game. This is Shin Jinseo's most familiar variation. He will play 3-3 invasion whenever possible. Shin Jinseo played this move very quickly and immediately entered the flying dagger variation. Xuanhao thought for a moment and played the Huang, which was sure to lead to a fight. Either side couldn't stop in this variation. Fans watching this will be delighted, as this is sure to lead to an epic battle. This move demonstrates the courage of both players, as they both played it in such an important match. Playing a Huang leads to the most complex variation. There's also a simpler variation, which is to connect. This is a common and straightforward variation. Black takes a rather large corner territory, and white gains influence on both sides. Back to the game. Now white is faced with a choice. He can play the game move, which is the newest AI variation. Another option is to play a tiger's mouth move. This leads to a Seiki situation. Both sides are alive. This is how the Seiki looks like. This is a very clever result that both sides coexist in peace. Black and white are both alive in the corner. Black takes the sente and cuts, white extends, and black ataris. Because black took 3-4 point in the lower right corner, white isn't very satisfied. As a result, white didn't choose this variation. If black had a 4-4 point in the corner, white approaches and it could build a sizable framework. Back to the game. Black has many choices at this point. If black tries to extend to initiate a fight, white can play the tiger's mouth and escape with sente. Black ataris, but it can't seal white in. White could extend down here and try to kill black. If black plays a diagonal and tries to directly kill white in a capture race. Black's peep is a clever move, forcing white to respond, and it prevents white from extending with sente. Very clever. If white connects, black extends is forcing. If white doesn't respond, black can play another extension to kill all of white's stones. White probably needs to Atari. White's connection isn't necessarily the best option, so white can also consider Atari directly. If black wants to kill, the key point is to play the cut. Both sides fight intensely here. White throws in is an excellent move. If white plays a normal diagonal move to kill black. White harness is a good move to increase liberties. Black can no longer fill liberties outside. Because white squeezes and black dies. Black plays a connection is also a good move to increase liberties. At this point, black has 5 liberties and white has 4. Therefore, white's diagonal move isn't enough to kill black. This leads to white's clever play of throw-in as we mentioned. If black continues with the same variation as before, white's clever move leads to black's death. Black has 1 less liberty this way and it's dead. Back to the game. Shin Jinseo has made a brand new variation, attaching white stone at the 3-4 point. And he played this move very quickly, obviously prepared for it. If white responds normally, perhaps the previous fight would have changed. Black still plays the diagonal move, in the same order as the previous variation. So far, Seiki has been formed in the corner. After black escapes the ladder, he formed some kind of coordination with the black stones above, which will affect future battles. Shin Jinseo has studied this deeply. Reinforcing with a white stone is also good at this point. Black must make a move in this local area, otherwise white will play an extension on the lower right and black will suffer. If black still peeps, it will be difficult for black's shape if white jumps. Black probably needs to Atari, and white also reinforces, letting black take advantage of the 3-4 point on the upper left. This is also a possible choice. Both sides have many future moves to consider. In the future, black's attachment definitely has oji, while white's extension will also be a severe move. Black is not completely alive this way, it might be attacked. In the actual game, Xuanhao may not have studied this variation, so he just responded locally. If white continues to follow up with a move. After black plays the tiger's mouth, white's local efficiency is not high. In the actual game, white did not follow up with a move, but instead reinforced back in the lower left. But white didn't reinforce the best move, for example Hane in the corner. Black could Hane and descend later, the difference in territory is huge. Back to the game. White's approaching move aims to capture black's stone in a ladder. So far, according to AI analysis, black has a 70% chance of winning. Indeed, Shin Jinseo was well prepared for this. Although black has an advantage, it's only a few points. Shin Jinseo still played an AI-recommended move in such a broad situation, which is very impressive. If black pinces too close, white is likely to sacrifice, so black must pincer further away. Back to the game. Black follows with a Hane is not a good move. White is getting ahead, black faces a bad direction. Also white could peep at a later stage. White could choose to descend after peeping, black obviously is facing a direction with little value. Back to the game. Therefore black reinforces the right side and attempts to attack white. Xuanhao made a brilliant move here, it's an efficient ladder breaker. Amazingly, it was AI's first choice. If Xuanhao plays a normal move, then black can immediately escape the ladder. Black has many oji later, so this difference is actually very important. Back to the game. Shin Jinseo also counters with a ladder breaker. If white continues to play the ladder breaker, it won't end well. When black makes a jump, the white stones on top left are in danger. Also the exchange of A and B becomes bad for white. Back to the game. White must find a way to cut black. If black simply attaches, then white has gained quite a bit by capturing one stone, and the black stone on the right are now a bit lonely. White can still play a knight's move to safely get ahead in the middle. Clearly, it's favorable for white this way. Back to the game. Black successfully escapes the ladder. White responds accordingly. In actual play, black made an extension. But it might be better to play a diagonal move. The diagonal move would have been more flexible, and if white didn't respond properly, black could have played a tiger's mouth to attack white's position. Therefore, white had to play an extension. At this point, if black extends this way, it would improve black's position quite a bit. In actual play, white extends along with black, this is a worse result for black. If black had a 70% win rate earlier, then at this point, Xuanhao has definitely made up some ground for white. If black simply jumps to reinforce, white would reinforce as well. After this move, the black stones in the middle appear very lonely, and the ones on top are also thin. Back to the game. Shin Jinseo naturally won't simply run away. Shin Jinseo plays a knight's move then a Hane, he is ready to sacrifice the 4 stones in the middle. White's counter Hane is black's ideal scenario. Black's Hane is forcing, if white plays away. White's liberties are too tight, the key stones couldn't be saved. This simple demonstration shows that white collapses. Other variations can be verified by yourself. In short, white is doomed. Therefore black's Hane is forcing, white had to respond. Black could connect with Sente, and white's 5 stones will be surrounded. Because black has a Hane on the second line, white is not going to catch black. Another option for white is to cut and take the stones. Black would sacrifice them accordingly. If white continues to attach down, the situation remains complicated. Simply capturing the 4 stones is not enough. Back to the game. At this point, Xuanhao played the strongest move. If black harness normally, black and white will compete in a race of capture in the corner. The sequence is more or less forcing. Black will lose the capture race, black is dead locally. Back to the game. Shin Jinseo may not have noticed the cleverness of Xuanhao's attachment, and after much consideration, he decides to play away and attach here to do some preparation. After Shin Jinseo makes several exchanges and gains a few black stones on top, the situation changes. If white continues to play as before, black's cup become a sente. If white responds, black descends down, then white is in danger in the capturing race. What's more is that black's attachment down here is sente, it has the potential to wedge at position A. Even if white plays the tiger's mouth, after black's wedge at A and block at B, white still cannot kill black. White is not able to connect this way. Back to the game. So instead of continuing to play the tiger's mouth and fight, white calmly cut off a stone. White's attachment at A is not necessarily a loss, but black's exchanges at B and C are very bad. Let's look at the original shape, and there was no way for white to create such favorable situation we just saw with just one move, indicating that black has suffered so much. Black did not continue to reinforce the local area, and Shin Jinseo attempted to turn the game around. White's cup was a move to find a balance. It is still the AI's top choice. If black attaches, white extends accordingly. This is the ideal scenario for white. Black is not completely alive in the center, and in addition, there is a cut at A in the future. Black cannot accept this result. Back to the game. At this point, black became a bit anxious, and played the move above to prepare for the battle in the center. White reinforces and descends. Black tries to run in the center, but in fact it is trying to surround the bottom side. When white also runs away in the center, black would attempt to surround the lower right area. If Xuanhao plays a normal tiger's mouth to get out, black would try to expand the framework in the lower right area, and then the game would become much closer. Back to the game. Xuanhao is a bold player with much skills. He thought for 5 minutes and then played the jump. This jump is 20% better than the previous tiger's mouth move in terms of AI win rate. If black peeps, firstly, white can't connect, otherwise black would Atari and white is dead. White could try to hold on with the bump, but black could still push and cut. Therefore, white is very brave to play the jumping move. Shin Jinseo begins to prepare for an attack on white. Black is trying to press white and white responds. Black continues to press white for 4 moves, but white still dares to extend. Xuanhao thought for a moment before responding each time, but he bravely applied the right moves. Actually, at this point, white could choose to reinforce with the bamboo joint because it has already gained a lot of benefits on the top. Although black's Hane is big move, but it's a gote, white can take the initiative to play away. Back to the game. Xuanhao is not afraid of the push and cut, he believes he can handle it. Shin Jinseo has no way out. The damage on top is too great, and if he doesn't make up for the losses, it will be a losing game. Black cannot simply block and kill white. White's extension is forcing. If black connects on this side, it's dead immediately. White needs to reinforce if black connects. Otherwise black Ataris and white is dead. White has to connect if black extends. This is black sente. White's cut is extremely severe. White's extension is sente, black must reinforce. Black has 3 liberties and white has 4. Black must reinforce here. White will Hane after black reinforced outside, black corner is dead. Therefore this variation doesn't work for black. If black Ataris from the other side, white's extension is not a sente anymore. No matter how black reinforces on the right, position A is just an example. White plays a Han A at B and black dies. If black Han A's at A and tries to save the corner instead, white will extend at B and black stones are dead on the outside. Therefore the only option left for black is to fill in the liberties first. Let's have a simplest and most straightforward variation here. White could kill black in a loose ladder. White has 3 liberties and black has only 2. Back to the game, because black can't simply block and kill white. Shin Jinseo had no choice but to play the tiger's mouth. Black must reduce white's liberties with the Han A. Let's count the liberties at this point. White's connection is Sente. Black's extension is also Sente. White has 5 liberties locally, and black also has 5 liberties. With 5 liberties against 5, in the actual game, white starts to fill in the liberties first and it will kill black. Black seems to have an outside influence, but in reality, white has a cutting point at A, and black is not completely alive if white squeezes at B, which is a burden for black. In this exchange, white gained many territory up top, and white's extension at D completely captured black's stones. This move also has the side benefit that black's Han A at C would become a Gote later. White's winning rate is 95% at this point, leading by 7.5 points. In a professional game, this is already a very large advantage. The focus is now on how white can reduce black's potential on the bottom side. Normally, black should Han A here. White is able to successfully reduce black's potential. Black is not satisfied this way. At this point, Shin Jinseo must have realized that the situation is unfavorable and began to attack white, ignoring the fact that white may run inside of black's framework. On the contrary, Xuanhao clearly realized his advantage and reinforced himself first. If black continues to Han A, white will jump back to safety. If white can force the big black group to make life at A in the center or reduce black a little, it will be a success. Shin Jinseo played this move very quickly, obviously realizing that if he let white jump back, he would lose. He must attack with brute force. For white, it is very simple. As long as he makes life while reduce black's territory, he can approach victory. Black take away the base from white. White plays a tiger's mouth to make eyes. Atari at A or B would be unbearable for black. Also, black's liberty would be too tight if white cuts at C. Therefore, black must respond locally. Black had no choice but to capture. At this point, white's actual territory is much larger. At the top, it's 33 points, on the left it's 22 points, and other points are not yet counted. White has at least 55 points territory. Black has 7 points in the middle, 8 points in the upper left, nearly 15 points in the lower left, and 10 points in the lower right, for a total of just over 40 points. White's position is at least 10 points better without considering Komi. That's a huge advantage. Black is trying to attack white and surround some territory at the same time. But it's difficult. The actual territory difference is too much. If black is reduced to the third line territory, white still has A and B moves to take advantages in the end game. Black's situation won't improve much this way. White's descent is a vicious move, with the intention of killing black's corner. This may ultimately lead to a Seiki situation, but there are many possibilities. In the actual game, Xuanhao felt that it was not necessary. Xuanhao played simple and just chose a tiger's mouth move. As long as white makes life and black doesn't surround too much territory, it's definitely an easier endgame for white. White has many potentials for more points in the endgame. White can easily enclose a significant amount of territory. Shin Jinseo must have used up all his time by this point. This move is just trying to buy some time. Perhaps Shin Jinseo didn't wish to push like this. Black net captures white, but because white retreats at A is a Sente, white is already alive. It could even choose to play away. Shin Jinseo refuses to play in such a way. Therefore Shin Jinseo reluctantly played a turn which is a bad shape. Xuanhao plays a two-space extension is a good move. It is a common feeling to want to play a large knight's move instead. However, he may be worried about being pincered and there is a weakness at A. At this point, black's win rate is only 1.1%, and white leads by over 8 points. Xuanhao didn't harm A, and instead played a solid extension. Shin Jinseo tries to surround as much territory as possible. White invades deep. It should be the final battle. If black's corner is gone, there will be no chance for black to win. White bumps, it's already alive. If black tries to kill, white can either squeeze at A, or Atari at B, both are sentais, so white is guaranteed to live. As long as white secures this last group, black will lose. If black tries to push and break I spaces, white can live very clearly, black won't be able to kill it. If black tries to turn and break I spaces, white's connection could make one I with sentai. Then white easily makes another I, it's definitely alive. White plays a diagonal and its severe move, it could cut at A. The entire black group on top right is in danger. This is the last move of this game. Jinseo resigned here.